Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we're discussing some new tracking options coming to VR, the recent major Quest outage, the Gundam Metaverse, and of course I have plenty of new game releases and updates to go over. There are timestamps and links down in the description, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, one of my favorite sites for VR accessories. They just released some brand new Quest 2 hand straps that'll give you that Valve Index feel and allow you to completely let go of the controllers. They also have plenty of other accessories like controller weights for those of you who work out in VR, cable management systems, and my favorite accessory, their super durable and extra comfy Quest 2 Elite strap. There are links down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so let's get this video started off with the check-in, which is how I've spent my previous week in VR. And for those of you familiar with the channel, you would know that I had surgery last week and I was forced to go 7 days without using VR at all, which probably hasn't happened in years because even when I'm on vacation, I still bring my Quest with me. For those who care, I am recovering well, but it's still a struggle to play VR titles, and I did start testing out the upcoming shooter Alvo, which does look quite promising, but due to my limited ability to play, I'm not going to be able to release any content on this title. I'm also currently testing prescription lens inserts for VR headsets, so you can expect a review on that in the near future. But let's not waste any more time on me and jump right into some new games. Okay, so first on the list is Nock, which is currently available on the Quest 2. It's a combination of archery meets Rocket League, and it currently has 88% 5-star ratings on the Oculus Store. A lot of people are saying this is the next VR esports title. If you want to move on from Echo Arena, this is a great title to try out, and there's a ton of overall depth to this title, which you rarely get from a VR game, let alone one that's listed at $9.99. Now that $10 price tag was basically a game day decision by the developers, who were originally going to sell it for $24.99. And by most accounts, I'm hearing it would have been worth that price tag, but as of right now, it's much more important for them to build a robust player base. Okay, so our next game also recently released, and that's the narrative puzzle-driven title Plumb. And look at this, guys, I have some extra keys to give out that I am putting on screen. Plumb features 17 distinct puzzles across 10 challenging levels, and you're only given a short period of time to complete each task. Adding to the overall challenge is the lack of a save system. That's right, you're expected to complete all 10 challenges in a single sitting. So if you're looking for a new puzzler, you might want to check out Plumb. Now, if that's not enough action for you, we have both single player and multiplayer first-person shooters on this week's release schedule. First up is the fast-paced roguelite Outlier. Outlier features some unique VR mechanics and RPG elements. In traditional roguelite fashion, every single run will be different, with randomized levels, enemies, and power-ups, and over time you'll unlock some permanent upgrades. So if you're a fan of titles like Until You Fall, but want to trade in your melee weapons for some guns and spells, go check out Outlier when it releases this Thursday, March 17th. Also releasing this Thursday is the PvP shooter Alvo. Alvo previously released for the PlayStation VR and will soon be available to Quest 2 users. This is a 5v5 shooter that's extremely similar to Call of Duty. There's a level system with unlockable perks, weapons, and cosmetics. There's killstreak power-ups like RC car bombs and attack dogs. There's the standard game modes like free-for-all, team deathmatch, and search and destroy, plus 2 more on the way, including zombies and hardpoint. Mechanically, you can see this title has been ported from the PlayStation VR, and motion controls are a bit limited, so it lacks some of the realism of a title like Onward, but it's a great alternative if you're looking for something a bit more arcadey. Now, if you have no interest in shooters, you might want to check out the Japanese anime-inspired giant creature fighting title, The Tale of Onogoro. Unlock unique celestial weapons, travel side by side with a high priestess, solve some puzzles, and finally take down some giant creatures known as Kami. This action-adventure title is also releasing this Thursday on the 17th, and this game looks a little bit too unique for me to pass on. Speaking of unique, next up is the intergalactic bartending simulator, Startenders. You've been abducted into the Startender Academy, and it's now your job to mix cocktails for intergalactic beings. There's over 100,000 unique concoctions to mix up, and some rather interesting machinery to help get the job done. This is a bit of a new take on the traditional food-building VR titles, and if that's what you're looking for, this game will be available on the Quest this Thursday, and on PCVR at a later undetermined date. And last up on this week's release schedule is another ported title also coming this Thursday, and that's Mare. Mare is a beautiful looking puzzler that originally released as a Quest exclusive, but now PCVR players will be able to experience this. With the help of a mechanical bird, you'll have to help a small child navigate through a dangerous world. Across 8 separate chapters, you'll be experiencing otherworldly music, beautiful environments, protecting your companion from danger, locating hidden artifacts, and ultimately unlocking the secrets of Mare. If you're a fan of titles like Moss, then you're going to want to check this one out. Okay, so that was this week's release window, and let's move into some game updates, starting with some additional VR ports that are releasing in the near future. The unique narration-driven puzzler Shadowpoint is making its way onto the PlayStation VR on March 22nd. It was originally released back in 2019 by developers CodeSync, who are most well known for Jurassic World Aftermath. It's narrated by everyone's favorite captain, Sir Patrick Stewart, and it's a magical journey that most people will enjoy. But if you want to up the intensity, the Viking-themed rhythm title Ragnarock is also being ported to the PlayStation VR. Unleash your inner drummer against Viking-themed music, travel through Nordic mythology environments, and even compete in cross-platform PvP. Ragnarock is one of those titles that's really easy to get into, but very hard to master. It currently has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, and I'm sure PlayStation VR users are gonna enjoy this one. Now our last port is going from VR to the flat screen. The fantastic board game title Demeo will soon be releasing a flat screen version that will be free to everyone who currently owns it for VR. Now this also works in the opposite direction. If you buy the flat screen version, you also unlock the VR version. If you already own the title on April 7th in your Steam or Oculus library, you will see the flat screen version added. Your progress does sync between flat and VR versions, and there is crossplay against every single version of the game. Pricing remains the same at $29.99 for any platform you choose to purchase this game on, and this is a great step forward as they continue to build the player base in preparation of PvP. Demeo is an excellent all-around title that I highly recommend you check out. Speaking of excellent games, Beat Saber just recently received a major new update. There's 6 new free songs, new in-game mechanics including arc and chain notes, a new lighting system and environments, and we now have a total of 36 maps. Years after its release, Beat Saber still remains as one of the highest played VR titles, and it's amazing updates like this that keep pulling players back in. Speaking of constant updates, Population 1 is adding the Metropolis to their map this week. This is a new futuristic environment that offers an endless labyrinth to explore and master, and more ways to move than ever. The Metropolis launches this Thursday, the 17th, and I just personally love how Big Box keeps adding these very unique areas with their own distinct feel. Now, if you prefer co-op, the After the Fall Frontrunner season is here. I did a whole video on this, which I will link above, but to briefly sum it up, we now have new weapons, new unlockables, a new Horde gameplay mode, 4 new levels, a free-for-all PvP mode, and a unique new enemy type. Now, like I said, if you're looking for more detail, check out my other video where I show off some gameplay. And our last game update comes for the upcoming shooter Nerf Ultimate Champions. The closed beta is launching tomorrow, Tuesday, March 15th, and applications are still open if you want to try and get into it. There's a link in the description, which is a quick questionnaire, and if you're lucky, you can get in and play this game before it releases. Okay, so that's it for game updates, and let's just move into a few additional stories before we close out this video. First up is a bit more information on Bandai Namco's upcoming metaverse, where they're investing $130 million. Now, we have since learned this will be a Gundam-themed metaverse. However, there will be licensed material from their other IPs, and currently I am borderline optimistic that this will be enough to set it apart from other existing metaverse-style worlds like VR Chat and Rec Room, but even with a $130 million investment, they still have an uphill battle. When it comes to throwing money around, no one can match Meta, and they're still really struggling to get Horizon Worlds moving. Regardless, I am still intrigued and highly optimistic for Bandai Namco's project, and think there's some unlimited potential when combining anime with VR. Now, while we're on the topic of the metaverse, I recently did a video talking about how the current metaverse is crap and it's currently littered with get-rich NFT schemes, and I was glad to see that Valve's Gabe Newell recently did an interview, and he basically had the exact same thing to say about the metaverse. So he just gets it so much more than anyone else, as he went on to talk about how all these people talking about the metaverse have never experienced an MMO and have no idea that all of these features already exist and are even more robust than what people are trying to offer without being locked behind blockchain. It's just a refreshing take that I really had to mention, and I will drop a link to the interview if you guys want to check it out. Okay, let's move into some VR tracking updates, starting with the highly anticipated full body tracking system from Tundra. They're lighter and cheaper than what you can purchase from Vive, and you'll only need a single USB dongle rather than one per tracker. Now, they went on sale March 10th and immediately sold out. Now, this was technically an extremely limited pre-order, and if you did manage to get a purchase in, you're still waiting till about mid-May for them to ship. Now, I'm hoping Tundra Labs will be able to keep up with demand. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if they're cheaper and lighter than the Vive trackers, because the Vive trackers are the only ones currently available. I expect the Tundra trackers will be in short supply for quite some time, as I was previously promised a pair of these for testing a year ago, and when I recently checked in with the company, they told me unfortunately they didn't have any left to spare. Hopefully I'm wrong here though, and this does turn around quickly, because my Vive trackers have died and I do need to replace them, and I would really prefer using a single dongle. Now on the topic of tracking, there was also a supposed leak for new Magic Leap controllers that have inside-out tracking built into the controller itself. This is similar to a design we've seen from Meta's Project Cambria, where a processing unit and cameras would be placed into the controller, potentially reducing the processing needed from the headset itself, resulting in increased overall performance and battery life. Now, the battery life of the controller would definitely suffer, but currently Quest 2 controllers last for months, and there's a huge disparity between recharging your headset every 2 hours and recharging your controllers every 2 months. So this could be a very beneficial trade-off. Now, personally, I'm curious to see if this becomes the new standard, and if these controllers function as well as headset-based inside-out tracking. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens, just like a lot of users are still doing with the current status of their Quest account. If you were unaware, last week on March 9th, Meta experienced a major outage for Quest users. People were unable to log into their account, purchase new games, and in some cases, access titles and apps they already own. Now, I was recovering from surgery last week and did not pick up my headset at all until Friday the 11th, and everything was in full working order. For many though, the nightmare continued for up to 24 hours, and there are some users who are still reaching out to me, stating they're still missing some apps, and they're getting the runaround from Meta support. I'm sure for those remaining users, it will eventually be worked out, but this is just another reminder that in this day and age, we don't really own our games anymore, and the safety and security of your account is extremely important. This is why I tell people don't play games with burner Facebook accounts, because you run the risk of losing every title you have ever purchased. And hopefully this is another learning experience for Meta, and they work to ensure that we still have offline access to our titles, even when we can't access our account. Okay, everybody, that was today's new VR news. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.